Next up is data validation. Data validation allows you to define and enforce rules on how data should be entered in a spreadsheet. You do this by specifying criteria for data to follow. You can also create drop-down lists that accept only data belonging to the list and present it uniformly. In creating drop-down lists, you have two options: either to use a pre-existing range of data as your list items or to enter the list items as part of the criteria. Using a pre-existing range makes it a bit more dynamic, since you can change the data in the range to change all instances of the drop-down list. When a user enters data outside the prescribed criteria, you can either show a warning sign on the cell or reject the input entirely. You can then display an error message that provides more information on why the input was rejected and what the user can do to ensure the entry is valid. The upcoming slides will provide a walkthrough of how to go about all of these. In this first scenario, we will be specifying a format for the data in the column to follow. More specifically, we want the entries in the column labeled quantity to contain only numbers greater than 0, since we have a calculation that relies on data in the column. And well, you can't have a record of sales if you sold 0 items. To do this, we go to Data on the menu bar and select Data Validation. In the pop-up box that appears, we specify the column of interest. We can select the entire column using the Ctrl-Shift-Down arrow keys for Windows or Command-Shift-Down arrow keys for macOS. Next, we specify the criteria. In this case, we'll choose number. Depending on the criteria chosen, there will be other options to choose from. Here, we'll go with greater than and set the value to 0. We'll check the box for Reject Input for the On Invalid Data option and check the Show Validation Help text box. In this case, the help text provided by default is descriptive enough, so we'll leave it as it is and click on Save. Done. This GIF demonstrates the data validation in action. Here we see what happens when invalid data is entered. It is rejected and we are directed to input a number which is greater than 0. And when we do, the entry is accepted. Next up, we'll create a drop-down list to control what data can be entered in a given cell. In this first example, we'll type in the drop-down options as part of the criteria. On the menu bar, we go to Data and select Data Validation. We then select the cell range we want to create a drop-down list in. We will choose List of Items as our criteria and type in the individual list items. This is ideal if your drop-down list has only a few options that you won't be updating often or at all. We'll proceed to reject invalid inputs and show a message telling the user to only pick from the provided list. We then save our changes. In this demo, we see how the drop-down list we created works. We can either click on the drop-down arrow and choose from the options, or start typing what we want to enter and then choose from the options that match our input. Entering something that is not on the list is rejected, and we get a message telling us to choose from the provided list. Let's now take a look at creating a drop-down list using a pre-existing range as the source of our drop-down options. We begin by going to Data and selecting Data Validation. We will set the criteria to List from Range. We are then given the option to select our range of data. We will navigate to the range we want to use, which in this case is located on a different sheet, and select it. We could have simply entered the reference if we knew it offhand. Next, we select the range to create a drop-down list in. We'll choose to reject invalid inputs and display a message telling the user to select from the available options. We then click on Save and we are done. In this demo, we see how the drop-down list we created works. We can either click on the drop-down arrow and choose from the options, or start typing what we want to enter, and then choose from the options that match our input. Entering something that is not on the list is rejected, and we are told to choose from the provided list. Great! Now you know how to enforce a data validation rule and create drop-down lists. Now to some fun stuff. We'll take a look at an interesting application of data validation. We'll create a dependent drop-down list. This walkthrough combines concepts you've already been introduced to earlier in this module and the previous module. Revisit the previous materials to remind yourself of the concepts if you have to. If you are good to go, let's dive in. In this scenario, we want to create two drop-down lists, where the options available in one drop-down list depend on what was selected in the other list. Our first list indicates the category we are dealing with, whether fruit or vegetables. And our second list gives us options of the fruit or vegetables available, depending on the category that was chosen. We begin by creating named ranges, in this case on a separate sheet. These named ranges will represent the categories we have and the items in each. We then proceed to create the first drop-down. We'll create this first one from a list of items, since there will be just two options, that is, vegetables and fruit. Now, we'll use an indirect function to list the options in each item category, using the selection from the first drop-down list as the reference. In the final step, we'll create the second drop-down list from a range and select the range of cells the results returned from the indirect function will occupy as the source of our list items. In this GIF, the name ranges are not covered, as that has already been discussed earlier in this module. The indirect function is shown, but only briefly. For a more detailed explanation of its use, refer to the previous module, Functions. Let's take a closer look at the named ranges that were created for this example, as well as the results returned by the indirect function. The GIF shows the results of the indirect function when vegetables is the selected category. Now let's look at how our dependent drop-down list works. We can see that choosing a particular option in the category column determines the options available in the items column.